Undulated sky melted into the landscape. Two silhouettes moved along the barricaded walkway, and the ghostly figures featured extend in agony. Since no wedding artist Edward Munch created the Scream in 1893, it's become one of the world's most famous artworks. But why has it cried traveled so far and endured so long? Munch was born in 1863, one of the five children. Tuberculosis devastated Europe throughout the 1800s, killing almost a quarter of all adults. It took Munch's mother's life, and then his elder sister, soon after Munch had his own bout of the disease. Another of his sisters experienced mental illness and lived much of her life in the institution. Meanwhile, Munch floating out of school due to illness, often spending days at home, drawing and listening to the ominous stories his father read aloud. A devout Lutheran, his father considered Munch's artistic ambitions unholy and inherited the seed of madness. Munch wrote, "The angel of fear, sorrow, and death stood by my side since the day I was born." Eventually, Munch moved to Berlin, where he frequented creative circles committed with breaking with academic tradition and instead developing the craft organically. While Munch had trained classically, he began immersing himself in what he called soul painting, composition that prized raw subjective effect over realistic rendering. "It's not the chair that should be painted," he wrote, but what a person had felt at the sight of it. What a person has felt at the sight of it. Many of the Munch's works dealt with personal suffering. This may have also led to a certain critic observed as an unsympathetic portrayal of women in works where Munch represented them as cruel predators victimizing helpless men. And death often haunted Munch's composition, from a skeleton helmet of boat to a morbid self-portrait, his sister's final moment to a mother's and his sister's final moment to a mother's on her deathbed, her child assuming a now familiar expression. Munch's art, Munch's art generated controversy. Some critics characterized him as absolutely demented, but he also drew acclaim. And what would become his most famous work was just around the corner. The Scream was inspired by a moment that overwhelmed Munch with an acute sense of anguish. In a diary entry marked January 22nd, 1892, Munch described walking with a true friend along the field overlooking what's now Oslo at sunset. He leaned against the fence, exhausted, as he saw a sky change suddenly. He described blood and the tongues of fire above the blue blood field and the city. His friend walked on Munch's road. I stood there, trembling with anxiety, and the sensed an infinite scream passing through the nature. As with other painful experiences, Munch revisited the scene repeatedly. First, he depicted it with a more recognizable human subject, but upon year, he surrendered it to dramatic abstracted symbolism, the haunted expression of the figure's skull-like face meeting a viewer's gaze directly. On this first version, he added a subtle by inscription, "Could only have been painted by a madman." Based on the Munch's account, many think the figure is emitting shrink but reacting to it. Munch eventually made a full version of Scream, all on the cardboard tube with pastel tube with paint, and recreated numerous prints and lithographs. The years following the first Scream, he depicted the same setting, but featured a collection of despairing faces. In late 1893, Munch premiered Scream as a solo exhibit in Berlin. The artwork bold composition helped fuel the expressionist movement, which likewise emphasized the strong psychological states, mapping the emotional contours of the World War I and beyond. The Scream continued its crescendo when it entered the public domain in mid-1900s. New rendition and reproduction bolstered its fame. It featured a popular film during the 1990s, and both painted version of the screen was stolen and recovered in the separate heights in 1994 and 2004. Soon enough, it was a widely accepted archetypal symbol for horror and anguish. The scream inspired the emoji and eventually implemented, and considering how to mark hazard sites so far off, future generations could know to avoid them. And the US government has considered using the scream expression. While its mirrored contour influence may not always reflect the personal agony Munch initially rendered, the scream has certainly found a near universal echo.